I think African American culture is America's greatest export. And it has always been. And I mean, whether it's, our music, our dance, our style, we just rock it. People just want it. It's true.
And I think to this day, I think Double Dutch hasn't been changed. I look at hip hop dance and look at the way, and I gotta say it, the way stripper culture has taken over hip hop dance for girls. That wasn't how we first did it, but somehow it's been changed. But when you look at Double Dutch, it has not been adulterated. It is still pure and powerful. And so I feel like that's a real redeeming quality of Double Dutch. Whereas hip hop, I still have my misgivings with some of the way we're being portrayed. But I'm sorry.
To your point, you're right. Double Dutch hasn't been, although we all remember, those of us remember Double Dutch on the McDonald's commercial. So that is, so you
those
see
ladies
it.
Are here, as a matter of fact. Those ladies are here.
They are where? Stand up. Where? Stand up, stand up. I want to know. Who was in the McDonald's commercial? Please. Yes.
Oh, royalty, royalty.
Oh my God. No. Legends in the house. So, we see it on the McDonald's commercial, but to Rokefella's point, Double Dutch did not become commercialized and co-opted and corporatized. So it still has a beautiful, strong, pureness to it, and then the evolution of it in terms of the tricks and the precision that has elevated, and it also is an art form where you can get in where you fit in. You don't have to be the one that does 5 flips or 2 flips or whatever. You can get in, jump, and get out. And I think that's also why it retains its popularity and has gone international, is wherever you are, you can bring your own flavor to it. So it has a foundation, and then you can innovate from there.
Yeah, so thank you for that. When we talk about Double Dutch, we're inevitably talking about the traditions of Black people, right? So, the Black aesthetic is something that has been copied, appropriated, profited from, and as Double Dutch ascended to an international stage, how do you feel that the inhabitants of urban communities, particularly here in New York City, which is at that time, gentrification has shown us differently, was largely populated by Black and brown people, really can reclaim this tradition that was rooted in our communities?
In the schools, because I think the young people are not, double dutching anymore. So we need young people to continue the legacy and the tradition of it. Is that what you're asking? How can we up-level it to not, remain in a place of nostalgia of what it was, but what can it be? I'm also thinking about, I didn't know that Africa Bambaataa brought Double Dutch to the tour. Can you imagine that?
No, that was Fab Five Freddy who put that tour together.
So I also would encourage, artists, other artists that are not, whatever form you're in, to include this in your art practice. And I will also look for opportunities just as a curator and producer to do the same.
Yeah.
I couldn't let that moment go.
Okay, thank you.
Reclaim my time.
Reclaiming my time.
Under the waters.
No, I don't know if it's ours, right? So technically we don't really need to reclaim it. I think that we need to sustain it. Really, we need to be in it in a way that, because we're always innovating within ourselves, in our own communities, you can take it. I think that that's part of our culture, is that everything that we make, somebody takes, and then we just make some more. There's more where that came from. There's more where that came from. And that's the amazing thing about us. It's damn, how do they do that? But oftentimes we do let go of those things that get kind of siphoned off of us. And I think it's because we don't really truly understand the value and the beauty and the heritage that's in it. And so I was been sitting here and I was thinking about, I'm seeing young girls and boys here, and there's such a beauty in our culture, in the way we learn how to braid hair, and the way we learn how to cook, or the way we learn how to jump rope or dance. There is something phenomenal when you see your mother or your auntie be like, "What? I can do that," whether it's a dance or jumping in a rope, or you go like, "Oh my God." And oftentimes we're not encouraged to see that as valuable. And that's why I think that Camille's work was so profound, because it was so beautiful. And oftentimes when we're growing up, we don't feel beautiful. We don't feel like what we're doing is valuable because nobody is saying, "Wow, that's brilliant." So I think that's one of the ways that we can actually reclaim it, is for us to actually value it in a way and understand the history, pass that on, that you are beyond just the hashtag, like live in the hashtag, every day. I think that that's the only way that we can, because they're gonna take. They are. But if we stay rooted in ourselves in a certain way, we can do this all day long.
We could.
My challenge is that validation often comes from the outside, so what then?
I think and I can speak just from breakdance, because I know at some point, not all of you know that it kind of died. Y'all know it. Like, you didn't see it anywhere. I know now you see it all the time. You see it in the subways, right? In your face, in the subway car, you see it. But there was a time when it died. And it really took us to say it's not going to die, and they're not going to fade this out. And this is way too much amazingness to just let someone say, "Oh, that's the 80s. And so we had to continue to bring it to new places, galleries, museums, libraries, and had to continue to push schools, colleges. I mean, I know you know that in colleges now there's a hip hop department in a lot of these like Ivy League schools. And so we have to be able to jump in on these new technological trends, jump in, like she's saying hashtag, some of you may be like, "What's that?" We have to be able to push forward the clips from this weekend that you see, that you witnessed. Use your phone, capture a team jumping, put it on your social media and say, "Aren't they amazing? They'll be here, or they'll be there." Because this is how it actually starts to happen in this generation. Before it was word of mouth and come with me and I got tickets. Now it's you have to push the video clip, whether it's 6 seconds, 12 seconds. Look at these people, aren't they amazing? Oh, these people are from London, these people are from, and that starts to appear in news feeds, and that's where a buzz starts to be created. And so I know that I'm already going live with everything everybody's saying. I've been like trying to capture the clips. I'll be here tomorrow. I'm checking things out. Because in my world, people were like, "Double Dutch?" And I was like, "Please don't give me that." Please. Because, people were like, "Breakdance?" A long time ago. They're like, "People still breakdance?" Yeah. But it's up to me now. And I feel like I really do want to carry this torch and push. So even throughout next week and the week after, I'll still be putting up these clips of Double Dutch within the breakdance feed that I put out so that people get it. This is also part of our urban indigenous history, because I'm from here, so I should be proud of everything that comes from here and be able to present it to the world like, "Isn't this amazing? Take a look." Just 6 seconds, 12 seconds. Take a look. This is the name of the team. So really, it's on us to use these new techniques.
I like that, urban indigenous. So we're right at about time. We can open up the floor for a few more questions if there are some. Yes.
Thank you. I'm delighted to hear that Double Dutch is going international and the excitement of being Olympic. I wonder though what your feelings are about the fear of being, or the concern about being appropriated and adulterated as it goes mainstream within the American culture and the white community catches up with this wonderful endeavor, and what the impact of that could be on the experience.
He went right to it, didn't he? We were like skirting around it. We were on the West Side Highway. Brought it right here. What are y'all gonna do when white people start doing it?
We're going to do exactly what Theresa said and continue to innovate. and continue to create. You know, you can see in all, you know, mainstream culture, sprinkles of hip hop and language, you know.
Sprinkles?
Well, yeah, more than, trying to be polite. So with you know, as propagators of culture and innovation, we just continue to innovate, and we can't live in fear, you know, that something is going to be taken. We just have to continue to create.
And we have to be wiser with the choices that we make when we come to the table. So we want people to come to the table, but we have to be sure about the chips and our cards when we go to play poker with whoever's coming to the table. Especially now, when anybody comes to me and says, I want break dancers for, and I want the head spin, and I want, and can you wear something a little more, you know? I'm like, no, I'm not wearing anything skimpy, because that's not what I wore when I was breakdancing. You want stripper? Go over there. So I have to be wise with the decisions I'm making, because a lot is riding on my decision. And my decision can't just be, I want to make money. It's got to be, whoa, there's kids coming behind me, generations, and if I mess it up here, I'm messing it up back there. And so y'all will be wiser. And make sure that when they say, well, when you double dutch, can you wear the little shorts? Or can you wear the push-up bra when you're doing the double dutch jumping? You'll be wiser. You'll be like, well, that's not what we wore. Sorry.
You know,
We just have to be wise.
I think also that's part of the reason why being in spaces like Lincoln Center and being reviewed by papers like the New York Times are really important, because oftentimes African American and Black history isn't actually documented properly, and credit isn't often given where it should be in the forums that matter, right? So there should be a very visible double Dutch canon. Right? So that's what you do. Like, we have to make sure that the history is told, but it's also in spaces that are validated in such a way that you understand where it came from, and there's no mistake that you are the original. Right? So everybody borrows everything from everything. That's cool. But when you don't value the source, that's the problem. So reclaiming my time. So that for me would be the only answer, because you can't stop people from. It's beautiful. People want to do it. I get it. You're excited. That's not the problem. That's not the problem with appropriation. That's different. But when we are respected, acknowledged for being the creators of it, and that part is not being scrubbed, right? That's where I think we need to really be, you know, check people. Be like, and that's where being in those spaces, you can't be scrubbed. Because once you've done that, it's there, you know, and it exists.
We also have to, within the culture, recognize who is the expert and claim that expertise, so that when someone does want it, they know they're going to the expert, they're going to the source, and not someone who saw it on YouTube and practiced it, and now they're running with it.